Hey, yo, and welcome to a special WA edition of the AWO Journeyman podcast. I am JD, the Carlton fan who hates his life more than ever now. Joining me as usual is Nate. You haven't played today, so I don't even have a thing for you yet. So going down the slide today, yes, Nate McFooty. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing fucking fantastic.
And of course, the boy we've come to visit here in WA. Finally got over here to see him. The Perth fan himself. The Fremantle fan himself. Not exactly the night we wanted the other night, but hey, we're here. How you doing, Meso?
Yeah, I'm, still waking up. Oh, Henry wants to say something.
Oh, and of course, we've got the joining us this week. We've got the special guests, the two dogs we've got here. We've got Henry and who's the other one?
Albert.
How you doing, Henry? And boys, let's talk some footy. Except we're not really talking footy this week. I think we're more talking the trip. So, WA. Let's start with you. What do you think?
I don't want to go back to Melbourne.
We've lost Nate forever.
I love it here. I was told this was a glorified regional town, Perth, and it was everything like that.
Almost everything you want.
Exactly. I left my mark here, literally, Friday night.
Oh, don't worry. We'll tell the Fernando story.
Who the fuck is Fernando?
Oh, don't worry. We'll reveal. All will be revealed at some point. So we flew in on Thursday morning at about 10 in the morning. And landed. Meso picked us up, waited a while for the bags, straight into Cannington. Is that where we are? Yep.
Yeah, East Cannington.
East Cannington. So, here we are. We hung out with Meso the first day. Basically, just waited to go to our Airbnb, and by the time we got there, we did a little bit of shopping, a little bit of fun here and there, but then headed to the Airbnb and pretty much started our Perth trip from there. Do you want to go into the first night a little bit, mate?
Well, there wasn't much anything on night one.
Did we go out night one?
No, we didn't go out night one. Didn't even do any shopping really night one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What the Pokemon was?
Yeah.
No. That's my ringtone.
We had slight issues. Our flight was not delayed, but cancelled. We had to be put on another flight.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about that.
2 hours ahead. Bit of a silver lining. We got in a little bit later than usual, which was nice. Bit funny. We're walking out the airport. Meso's right behind us.
I don't know how you ended up behind us more than anything.
I found you. So I came in and I saw you guys at the bag collection. And then so I went and sat next to like a little seating area next to the bag collection and sat on my phone. And I stalked you guys out like a private eye.
Walked up to me and just tapped. He goes, "Oi, boys!" I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, and then so I followed them out and I said, actually, no, we're parked over there.
Hey, well, we were parked over there. You can't tell it wasn't that direction. You don't know where we are. We got in. Like Nate said, flight was delayed, but no issues there. We got an interesting flight back. We can definitely go into that.
We'll talk about that.
Oh boy, do we have an interesting flight back, especially after what's happened this weekend in footy. But no, we watched the footy on Friday night, just a Thursday night. Sorry, it was between
Sydney and St Kilda. Can I just say how good it started at 5:10 p.m. here.
Oh yeah, can we talk about this? Like as Victorians, 5:20 starts for the footy. How do you deal with that every single week? When you for me, it's the thought of I finish work at 5.
Oh,
so. How do I get to the footy from? How do I get to quarter one from work?
you better be watching KO and watch it back.
Yeah,
From the start. Yeah, that's the only way.
For Victorians, if you remember, there was that game earlier this year. I think it was Gather Round.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Gather Round.
Freo Gold Coast.
Freo Gold Coast. It started at about 5:10 Victorian time. Which God, that would have started what 3:10 here. So that's what it's like in Perth if you're trying to watch the footy. The weirdest thing though is your footy ends by 8 o'clock. Like I don't know how you deal with that.
Just go to bed.
You don't. But when you're on a trip and you're on a boys' trip, you kind of sit there and you're like, well, shit, what do we do now? So, of course, we just started drinking and hanging out. And the theme of this trip has been Royal Rumbles. That and picking boys left, right, and center.
Oh, what a boy! Yeah.
I was gonna say definitely. What a boy has become the phrase of the trip. So get ready for that on the next few weeks of the podcast, where we just keep saying "what a boy" by accident, and dog shit
I
has
think-
been up every single day.
Well, it's also nice, like living together for a few days. Can confirm that I sleep with my eyes open.
Okay, yeah. Now we can tell little stories about like little things. So Nate on the second night when we got home. Well, no, it was the first night he did it, wasn't it? Where he remember when we tried. He was on the couch. We had the cricket on. I'm pretty sure, and he basically snapped awake for. We thought he was awake, but you waved your hands in front of his face, and he just did not move at all and
Oh, yeah,
didn't
when I was
budge.
offering him chips, yeah, nothing. He was out.
Did
cold.
not, but his eyes were wide open, staring at you. And I'm like, this is the creepiest thing I think I've ever seen. And the amount of times that you just got up randomly and would go to bed and then come back out, I was like, this boy's so tired.
Yeah.
Like you were hitting a level of
We-
tired, delusional.
We had a 26-hour day.
We did have a 26-hour day. That's the weird thing. I mean, we get a 22-hour day today. We get a 26-hour day on Thursday. The fact that I got to sleep by midnight was astounding to me, even though that's 2 a.m. in Melbourne and that's regular time for me. Still, to get up at that time is crazy. But yeah, so we watched the game on Thursday. Dog shit game. We're going to talk a little bit of footy, not too much. We'll just talk about the games we did watch. But that game was absolute dog shit.
Decided by umpires.
That,
Said it.
oh, don't worry, mate.
Said it.
I think this is the week where we actually talk about how, like, even though we're going more about the WA trip, we could still talk about how the fact that many games this round were decided by umpires. Watching that Carlton game last night, so Sunday night, was dog shit umpiring. Your game, dog shit umpiring. That was decided by an umpire.
Even though we got the rub of the green, I'll admit it. We got the rub of the green. We're not angels and only give away 7 free kicks in a game.
But still ended up with
But yeah, then again, that decision did kill all momentum. So it's like one of those like, oh, I can't bitch about umpiring because we got such the majority of calls go our way.
you can still bitch about it as a whole, though. I feel.
But that non-goal, yeah, that was a momentum killer, and that as soon as that was called, I was like, yeah, that's game. It's over.
And of all people to get Marlon Pickett.
No, it was
No,
Bolton.
Oh, but no, it didn't. He set it up, didn't he?
I'm talking about the Hughesy goal that didn't get called.
Oh, yes. We'll have to go into that. But yeah, all right. So Thursday, yeah, as we said, we get in, we sort of just did our thing, went to bed sort of thing, caught up on it.
Well, thank you, Sydney and St Kilda. I fell asleep because of you two.
It was the next best thing to a Valium on the plane.
Oh, and I sleep weird. You fucking fell asleep twice.
Yeah.
Got up and fell asleep again. How's that scientifically possible?
I would be curious to see. Here's one for the comment section. Him to know. You know what? No, we do get a comment usually. So Connor, can you please tell me if you sleep on a plane, mate? Because I tell you what, I've done that every single time I've gone on the plane. Guarantee I sleep on the way back.
I'll be falling asleep just normally. Yeah.
I mean, I think you just
I'll wake up with an ear popping for 24 hours, but
that and watching The Shining.
on the Shining with tits. Yeah.
The weirdest thing, right? Imagine you're on the plane, and then next thing you know, you were watching one movie, but then you fell asleep. So then, of course, it's finished. But then you wake up, and there's another movie on your tablet again for no reason, and Nate's watching The Shining, and I just woke up to tits. What a weird thing to wake up
And what a
to.
perfect combination of movies to watch heading to Perth. Finding Nemo and The Shining.
The Shining and Finding Nemo. Yeah, I had Megan and The Shining, although The Shining I didn't really have much say in. But yeah, so get up on the Saturday. Meso didn't stay with us on the Thursday night, but that was because you had work on the Friday and we had to explore. So we went around on Perth on Friday and just went through the CBD. What were some of your highlights from the Friday of just exploring?
I don't remember.
Well, Friday was when we went to Nostalgia Box.
Oh, what a great! I kicked the worldie. I kicked the worldie playing FIFA. Oh my god! And I got pain as well. Playing Gallagher. Just short of the highest score.
So yeah, of course, Gallagher. And you know what's even worse? I found that you would have been on a board. There was a board they had that
Not
had
even-
was the
not-
high scores for certain.
Not even
Machines?
Second, not even second. Not even third. It's always first.
It's always first.
Oh, yeah.
First had to be on there. So we were going around, just exploring, seeing the sights of Perth. So we ended up going to just around the CBD. We ended up going to Toast Face Griller for breakfast. I waited 10 years to go to that joint. I'm surprised you had never heard of Toast Face Griller, considering we both like Wu-Tang.
No.
Nothing. But yeah, so I definitely recommend going to it. It is very, very good. Just a nice, simple, classic toasted cheese sandwich that I had for breakfast with a hot chocolate. What did you get?
I don't know what it was called, but I just want to say this: between Royale and Toast Face Griller, if anyone is recommend or wants to go to Perth and has any recommendations, that's it: Toast Face Griller and Royale.
Yeah, they were both very good. We didn't even speak about the fact that Mason took us to Royale on the Thursday, which I'm hope you know we're going there this afternoon, or if we can, because I am fiending another burger from that joint. That was phenomenal.
Between that, Chicken Treat, Red Rooster, yeah, all options are on the table. We've got a few hours left.
They've got it all here at this joint. Now, going back to the Friday, we like I said, we were walking through the CBD. We just did a bit of shopping, did a bit of sightseeing, and then we went back to the apartment, drop off our stuff, and then we were like, well, what do we want to do? So we looked up a few things, and we found this video game museum, and we thought, okay, well, let's check this joint out. So it's called Nostalgia Box in Perth. Quite possibly one of the greatest video game places I've ever been to. Had genuinely, mate. The fact that the museum was full of nearly every gaming console ever made. They were only missing the Power Glove.
The Nintendo Power Glove, and they've got a big sign saying, if you've got it, please give it to us. And I just want to say it's the best museum I've ever been to, ever.
Yeah, Nate's. I mean, I was going to say, I think that's where you took the most photos, was that museum.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely check out Nostalgia Box because, like I said, it's got every console through from the very first console that's ever been made through to the PlayStation 5. So, it's awesome to see. And then, of course, once you go through the museum, you're then able to go play any of the games that they've got on offer. So, I spent my afternoon playing things like Hit and Run, Gallagher, Frogger. We played Wii Golf for a bit. What else? What did you play?
Well, I played FIFA, and obviously I kicked a worldie.
if anyone's not sure, he kicked the world. He's been telling us all weekend.
And it was so good. I got up out of my seat and just went to John.
He was lucky that no one was in the joint because all I saw was him jump up and just go, yeah. And the only other guy I looked at. I forgot to tell you this, by the way. The guy who runs Nostalgia Box, I saw at the footy.
He's a good bloke.
100% saw him at the footy.
Oh, charismatic.
Freo fan.
Charismatic as
He's a
fuck.
good bloke. Yeah, I went with my girlfriend there before. Surprised me. We went and checked it out, and yeah, he's a good bloke. I think what was it? A couple of months before that, they had been robbed.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wouldn't be surprised by that.
And yeah, took a whole bunch of merch, obviously. So good to see that he's getting his stock back up, and he actually had some stuff to play. But yeah, I think a whole bunch of Game Boy games were stolen.
Oh, that's a shame because they had some of the best Game Boy collection that I've ever seen.
Probably explains why all the SmackDown v Raw games weren't there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody stole all the SmackDown video. Someone stole Here Comes the Pain because I was searching for that like no tomorrow.
Did you play Shrek 2?
That's
That's what we played when we were there.
Did you play Shrek too?
I
I was
asked
playing
for
Hit and
Shrek
Run.
2.
Was I playing Hit and Run?
You played Hit and Run. You played, I think, Donkey Kong as well.
Yes, I had Crash Bandicoot going, but I felt a bit cheap because I've just beat that on my Switch recently. So I felt cheap playing that one. But like I said, check out Nostalgia Box if you're in Perth. That place was absolutely awesome. We spent pretty much our entire afternoon there for about 3-4 hours, and then we jetted off and went and got a very, very late lunch, which was not the best for me, but you had a pretty good burger.
I enjoy it. Perth as well. Love their burgers.
Holy shit. Okay, here's a quick question for you. What's with the burger obsession?
Burgers are good.
Burgers. There's something about here. I feel like every state has their thing. Like, you know, saying to Meso last night that we have like a kebab shop on every corner.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like with them.
Well, I feel like I think I'm the most Italian person in this state right now. So it probably explains why there's lack of pizzas and just a shitload of burgers. But love the burgers.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had better burger. Like, we'll say Perth, coming through good with the burgers.
Yeah, now you judge the burgers on how if they fall out, is it really like if it falls out, or if it if it doesn't fall out, is it really a burger, or am I just too good with my etiquette?
Dip-
My burgers weren't slipping out,
What do you mean by slipping out?
as in like not just the filling, but the stuff inside, like the lettuce, the tomatoes, the
Oh.
sauces.
I mean, for me, it's got to be a combo. You got to have a combo of the things in there to make it a good burger. Which that one you got me, the one we got from Royale, that was the one that I'm still dreaming about those jalapeno chunks in that fucking burger, because that is probably one of the best burgers I've ever had.
Get the Frankenstein next time.
Explain the Frankenstein to people.
What is it? It is fried chicken with a meat patty with pulled pork.
Fucking hell.
What else was there? With bacon.
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 Don't forget the
Bacon, a hash brown.
Did you eat this as well?
No.
What else am I forgetting?
The sauces.
Yeah,
and
the
then
sauces, pickles.
bit of salad in it as well.
Yeah, but man, this thing's like yay big. $26.
I mean, seems
But
worth it.
it's worth it, and I get it every time. It is so filling.
It's quite possibly the most filthiest burger I've ever seen in my life. But I mean, I don't think I've ever seen someone look so satisfied eating something
Oh.
before.
Oh, so
You were literally in heaven.
Yeah.
But what did you get?
The ODB.
Oh,
ODB.
ODB. Shout out to one of my favorite podcasts, OSW. They just released their Steiner episode, and of course, there's a bit of it where ODB, and it goes into her when she debuts. And God, she was always calling herself a old dirty bitch. She is the best. But yeah, so back to Perth. We were back to Perth from ODB. Back to Perth. So went through Nostalgia Box. Then we came back, watched the footy on Friday night, which was
Anything but dog shit.
yes. What was the game on Friday again?
Dogs and Port. Powerhouse.
Time to bring in the powerhouse that is Port Adelaide. 10 in a row for Port.
That's it. Untenable. No, 10 in a row. That's it.
So and Nate's been saying it all weekend, and I couldn't agree with him more. If Collingwood win today, it becomes a very clear top two teams that it is in the competition at the moment, and that is Port Adelaide and Collingwood, which says a lot considering you reminded me yesterday that you flogged them earlier in the season as well.
It's a much different Port Adelaide side now. And I'll say now, I think most of the AFL wants Melbourne to beat Collingwood. Otherwise, yeah, it's a clear top two.
Yeah.
Well, it makes life hard for everybody else to then get into the 8. Like we'll touch on the Vortex in a second.
Are we going to touch on it? We can touch on it.
We'll touch on it, but we won't explain it. We'll wait for a full episode next week when we're back we're back in Melbourne and we're doing the podcast again. So then we can explain what the Vortex is, because you firmly cemented yourself in the Vortex this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl, I mean, to be fair, hey, at the end of the day, we're out of it. It's not the worst thing in the world.
You've been spat out of the Vortex.
we got recycled out of the Vortex. But very good game on Friday night. Port got up by 22
points. Zach Butters is the fucking man.
Oh, he's the man.
Probably another 3 votes for him. Jason Horne-Francis, another scoop to do, and a great goal as well. He didn't pass it off. He kicked the goal. Questions can be said about the Dogs' defense and their structures as well. I know Kane Corns ripped into the Dogs this week. They got a few players that I don't think are AFL standard at the moment. And the Dogs, again, allergic to top 4, and because of that, they're shifted right back into this Vortex. Yeah. And now their top 8 credentials are now being questioned.
Yeah, and you're going to hear that word a lot now, the Vortex, because the Vortex, until we start to see something that changes it, that is what we're dubbing this weird, and we sort of touched on it last week, but the weird 5 to 13 range now, because 14 range actually, sorry, because Giants jumped into the Carlton spot. So after that, we decided to go out to strike bowling in Perth and play 2 games of bowling while we were drinking me and Meso were drinking Long Islands, which fuck me. They were hitting the spot left, right, and center. But on Friday, we discovered a new mate, very good new friend that we have made on this Perth trip, and his name is Fernando. For those who might not know, Fernando is sitting right next to me. It's not Meso. Can tell you that much. But basically, as we got to the bowling alley, we had to put our names into the sheet of for who goes first in bowling and whatnot. Nate just walks. I was going to put down all of our podcast nicknames. So I was going to do, Mace Man, JD, and then Nate McFooty. But no, Nate goes, no, I need to be Fernando. I need to be Fernando. So we changed it over to Fernando, and now we've got our good friend Fernando. When Nate gets too drunk, well, not even too drunk, just a certain nice. We've now dubbed him Fernando.
What did Nate have by then? I think for prees he'd had like 4 or 5.
Four Jimmy Bartels.
Yeah, 4 Jimmy Bartels, 1 Furphy, 2 Furphies,
What?
3 Furphies,
What?
4 Furphies,
What?
leftover wine, leftover champagne.
Oh my god! I forgot he was drinking drinks off the table.
I remember that.
Oh, so of course, I don't know if anyone's ever been to strike, but of course, sometimes like people bowl before you normally, and usually if you're leaving, most people just leave their drinks on the table. Well, when we arrived to that table, there was pretty much a full beer and 2 wines.
Yeah, that's where they went.
But I was gonna say, by the time we left that table, those 2 beer, that beer and those 2 wines were gone.
Yeah, Fernando took them.
Fernando absolutely demolished them, is what Fernando did.
He also demolished the bowling.
He did. Fernando got up twice. I absolutely choked it, but we did do one of the greatest things in the end. So we made a rule that every time you hit, no matter what you were getting, so no matter what you hit, you had to hit a wrestling taunt. Did we dare bring up what happened to you?
I ripped my pants.
He tore his pants.
I ripped my pants.
And I mean, to be fair, wasn't that bad. I mean, you couldn't see it at all.
No, I sympathise with him because that one work week a few weeks ago, I ripped my pants the same way twice. So-
The fact that you did it twice is amazing.
And I told you this at the time
Yeah.
as well. It's just I've got the same rip, the same. So I'm not laughing.
I mean, it wasn't funny, but it was more the fact that you were just lucky that nothing had actually.
Oh, I had to be very cautious of how I bowled. Ruined me not.
I was going to say, you know what's funny though? You can't argue that once those pants were ripped, you bowled 10 times better.
Not really.
I mean, I reckon you did. I reckon some of your strikes came after
What
the
do you
pants
mean
ripped.
strikes. I got gutter balls.
No, you got 2 strikes, and they were both after the pants ripped.
Yeah, fair.
So I'm going to call it and say that your pants are the reason that you bowled better. But yeah, so old mate Fernando over here got up in the bowling, and then we went into Be Lucky and Sons and went into the arcade, where I won't reveal the number, but let's just say Nate had a awesome time in the arcade, playing. I think you played nearly every machine in that joint. Mind you, I found that I have a big punch because of that punch machine.
I didn't do the punch machine.
Well, I found out that I'm like a 9,500.
There was actually a bloke. I think it was a professional boxer in there because he's being recorded punching that thing.
Yeah, he was the one he was watching me, and then he gave me a high five. He's like, "Not bad, not bad." So I'm feeling pretty good about myself in that sense, because that guy was a beast. He was also the one that I don't know if you caught it because I think you're off to the side. He kicked it. I think he was a kickboxer.
Yeah, I saw the kick as well. I think his kick was better than punch.
Yeah, did you see that as well? He
No.
he did one of those spin kicks and absolutely nailed the thing.
Yeah,
I think he got the high score.
it didn't see it.
It was absolutely awesome. But so you and I, we just went off and did our own thing while this one ran amok and played every game, because we were off playing like what Jurassic Park. We had what do you call it, the air hockey. I think I won won a toy, a couple of toys actually in that joint. Yeah, and then we went over and you were playing. How do you describe this game? It's like pokies for kids.
It was, but I had good timing on it, so I was putting cheap tokens on that one. I think I found my home away from home there, but there was something that reunited us towards the end of the night. That was John Cena's Basic Thugonomics song. This came on out of nowhere.
I was going to say, so yeah, me and Mason were playing Mario Kart at the time. Like we're sitting down to play Mario Kart, and then as it loads up, all you hear is this is basic thugonomics. I'm like, what is going on right now? I mean, you and I were losing our shit playing that.
Yeah, it's unexpected.
What a DJ!
Yeah, the DJ was going off. He was playing bangers non-stop.
He did play some good songs all night. I'll give him that.
Too bad the place was dead.
I mean, you know what though? I preferred it because we then got to run amok. Like if it was packed, it would have been shit.
Yeah, we had to take turns.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact
No.
we to actually have some fun was actually better, I reckon. It's like, yeah, this one wanted. We were gonna do an escape room, but I mean, that's how you, like, I mean, the first night you were here, that's how you said it. That's how you ruin friendships if you want to.
Yeah. Can I another thing as well? I've never seen a more charismatic DJ in front of 6 people.
Oh, what was he doing?
He was doing the Jeff Hardy shit.
Oh, doing the Jeff Hardy. Oh god, after last night with the Jeff Hardy.
He kept trying to make eye contact with me, and I was like, no, don't.
Don't. He's probably sitting there like, hey, what song do you want to listen to? Which is probably why Basic Thugonomics come on. I bet you some wrestling fan was there that we didn't realize.
I should have gone up to him and asked him to play the Digimon theme song.
Oh, I mean, Nate would have lost his shit. Something we found out this weekend from the trip is we're Pokemon boys here. And then this one over here is a Digimon boy.
Well, that's Country Victoria for you, which
Discount Pokemon.
is pretty much it.
uh,
I mean, controversial, but I reckon Digimon cartoon went harder than the Pokemon one.
it did. No, I don't think anyone can deny that you're correct on that. So we ended up after all that, we basically were trying to get we got some prizes and all that sort of stuff. Nate was working his way towards a wrestling figure.
No, Napoleon Dynamite. He wanted Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, he wanted Napoleon, but that was never going to be in reach. Like
That's
that,
1,000 in reach.
wasn't it?
It was within reach,
Yeah.
but the siren went and it fell short of Napoleon Dynamite. Fell just short of the Andre the Giant stretch figurines or whatever they were. And I had to buy a shitload of Zappos and pop vinyl.
Yeah, the pop vinyl was the disappointment. When I just yelling at you adamantly, please don't get the pop vinyl.
Well, I'll just give it to my sister.
That's fair, but I was just adamant you shouldn't have got that pop vinyl because I've seen the stuff they have in Melbourne. You could have just gone to Melbourne Central and got something way better, and we could have just had another night at Be Lucky and Sons. But I do think that we did fuck up. Because I reckon you could have got those wrestling figs if we had realized that all you had to do was hand those cards back and those tokens back. Did you know that? So we found out that if you hand those tokens and cards back, you get extra things on points.
Well, like how much?
So the cards are 100 each, and we have 7 or 8 of those cards. And then about how many of the tokens did we end up with?
Oh, fucking way too many.
So at the end of the day, Nate had Nate had the tokens. It's just we didn't realize that he had the tokens.
Oh, we're just taking cards home now at this stage.
I mean, they're in my suitcase. I'm pretty sure.
And I even said to the lady, she goes, "Oh, you can come back another time." Well, I'm from Victoria. I'm not coming back.
Yeah, I love how she worded that. She's like, "Just come back another time," and it's like, when? When? I can go to the one in Victoria. I can go to the one at Melbourne Central, but that's it.
The goth chick just wanted Nate to come back.
Oh, mate, that goth chick was eyeing you off like no tomorrow.
I was in Velcro shoes. There's no way I'm picking up any woman in Velcro shoes. She was
Well,
6'4" as well.
I mean, it would have been interesting to see if he could have picked up in Velcro shoes. Those bowling shoes were pretty steez.
Nah, that was snazzy.
They were I mean, I rate bowling shoes as decent shoes.
Fernando could have got in, but Nathan, not a chance.
I mean, it's not like you had to deal with either of us. I mean, we ended up we walked to that random once we got out of strike, we walked to that random corner store that you keep going, why the fuck does that place have C4 in the window? Like,
What did I buy? I bought some like pre-workout drinks at like Sour Patch Kids and Starburst.
yeah, you only bought them at 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I didn't drink them at 1 in the morning, but I was like, geez, never seen those before. Got to cop those.
It's just more the funny, and it's funny the fact that you live here and it's right next to Perth Station, so you can just easily get it whenever you wanted to.
Not for $7.90 a can.
$7.90.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was $7.90 a can.
Yeah, well, because it's a freaking corner store.
Like that sip I had was worth $1. Fuck, I owe you $1.
That's all right, but like my question was, there was some random in there, and I was just so confused because like, what were you doing? Like, I don't know if he was there for like moral support, if he was the boyfriend of the chick working the store, or what. But like, he looked like he was trying to get in, but he was friend zoned. Like, it's like There's just so many questions because what was it, like 1, 2 o'clock in the
Yeah,
morning
it was
by
about
then?
1:30 by the time we were in that corner store. So
I hope he got in.
I think he did, but either way, you're not wrong. It was very odd. And then we had Nate not trying to get in a fight, but then we had that guy shout out from the cut. You didn't try to get in a fight. I'm not saying you did. I'm saying that we had the guy who tried to yell some shit out, and you're like, "Oi!"
Yeah, you got
Well,
very offended by
Yeah,
it.
well, 3 blokes in a Hyundai trying to act tough.
It was one bloke.
It was one bloke. The other guy in the front was quite nice.
Yeah, the other
was
guy in the
driving.
front was waving to me, the driver,
Yeah.
and the other dude in the passenger seat. And they were like, "Hey, how's you?" And then he was just like, "Go home." And then Nate was like, "How dare you?"
you weren't a happy boy, but at the end of the day, we were like, thank God you didn't yell out. I couldn't be bothered getting in a fight in Perth.
I hope that cactus as well.
Oh, the Perth cactus, yeah, the Perth cactus.
It's a weird fucking cactus.
We don't even know if it's meant to be a cactus. We just call it the cactus.
Did you import
It
that
looks
from
like
Did you import that from Melbourne?
Probably.
It genuinely looks like a cactus, though. Like like a weird looking thing. It's the most Melbourne thing I've ever seen in my life. Like weird art is our forte. Like when you come down to Melbourne, we have to show you all the weird art. Anybody who lives down near Frankston Way, you'd know the Nanginator. That fucking weird thing looks like a bong on the highway. Like we have so many weird things. Like, have you got anything weird near you?
There's this cylinder thing near High Point that looks like 2 kidneys, or I don't know what the fuck to describe it as. I'll take a photo of it and show you.
It's just weird art is all over Melbourne, but we're not talking about Melbourne because Perth's the one who had the weird art with that cactus. We also but basically once we'd done that, we went back to our apartment again, and I think we all basically I think we chucked on a rumble and then died, all of us.
Yeah.
So yeah, on to the next day. We wake up on Saturday.
Big risk as well when you're hungover and you're relying on Perth tap water to not vomit or to whatever.
I mean, we won't go into what you went through back at the apartment because that was like I still reckon it was about an hour of dry heaving.
I was trying to give birth, it just shrunk. It couldn't come out.
It was just so bad. I mean, you were in bed by the time he came back out and was trying again.
You know, I went straight to sleep and still had the shittest sleep out of everybody.
I still don't know how that works, especially considering you're used to the time zone. So we get to the Saturday. We wake up. Fuck, what did we do Saturday?
We did nothing Saturday.
No, we didn't do anything Saturday because you were so fucked. You went home for a nap. We were so fucked. We stayed on the couch for 90% of the day and just watched footy. So this will be our day to talk about some of the games we watched, I guess. So who I'd have to look it up. I almost need the scores.
Start off with Hawthorn v Brisbane. We talk about the Dogs being allergic to top 4. Brisbane's allergic to the MCG. Brisbane have now lost, I think, 13 of the last 14. I thought last year they beat Melbourne at the MCG. I thought this hoodoo was done. I thought Brisbane could take over the MCG, but not to be. And I said last week as well, if it was a Port Adelaide v Brisbane grand final, I'd go Brisbane. I changed my mind. I'd go Port Adelaide at this stage. Brisbane have fallen back a few steps. They're not in the vortex just yet. They're still a solid top 4 side, but I'm not too worried about Brisbane just yet. It's just this MCG hoodoo. It's going to be a cloud over their heads. It's too wide of a ground. It's too big for them.
Doesn't suit them.
Yeah.
And the problem is, as you would say, you've got to win a grand final at the MCG. I mean, they had their chance. If for people who may not have heard May, so he said that you could do it at the Gabba. They had their chance to do that, and they also had their chance to do it in WA. So, absolute shit showing from Brisbane. But what a showing from Hawthorn. It's funny. I dubbed it the headache. You said it. It's funny. You said it mid game. You go, what a fucking headache this team is, and it is. It's. There's no better team at causing pain to think people above them than Hawthorn.
Yeah. When I was doing my reviews last year solo, I described Hawthorn as that banana skin opponent. You're going to have to earn your victories against them. That's what everyone's doing now. I still think Hawthorn's going to drop off in the second half of the season. They're too young to run out an entire season. They'll have those Port Adelaide results. We'll find out from the tribunal. Sicily's suspension. It was a gnarly tackle. Not a sling tackle per se, just the how
brutal.
He was dumped into the ground. I'm not sure If Brockman now Brockman is Brockman's fault, but being collided into Brockman, the way he fell to the ground, and then Sicily pushing him into the ground afterwards. Slightly controversial. McCluggage not taking the stretcher off. He had to walk around the entire, pretty much for 5 minutes, walked around the side of the oval to get to the bench to restart play. Didn't impact the result too much, but once the stretcher comes out, you got to get on the stretcher and get off. So McCluggage, I'm not sure if they got the bye. If they don't, he'll probably miss a week. And yeah, that was pretty much it. Also got to mention Hawthorn's handballing. They just ran, and everyone's getting involved. Jarman Impey is just elevating himself each passing game.
He's a scary player. He's one of those players that when you play him, you don't realize how much he cuts you to pieces.
Yeah.
Like he actually just absolutely tore Brisbane apart. I think they're just going to have some off games here and there, like you sort of said. But I think we'll see how they go towards the end of the year. Like you said, again, the age factor will come into it. But at the end of the day, I think they're very capable of just being the headache throughout the entire season. And then, I reckon they could make somebody, especially with this vortex that we keep talking about, I reckon right near the end of the year, they could absolutely screw somebody completely out of finals or something like that. They're that sort of team this year. So well done to Hawthorn. Big win over Brisbane at the MCG. And the next game, I think we barely paid attention to because it was absolute dog shit. But the main thing we were there to watch was, as much as I don't like the guy, watching Tex Walker kick his 10.
This was like the Eagles are getting flogged week in, week out. This was the one game I had a slight feeling Adelaide could just absolutely rip them apart. And that's exactly what they did. Was it 27 goals, 12, 174 to 8, 452? Tex Walker single-handedly defeated West Coast, kicking 10 goals too.
Holy shit, Nate got the exact score.
But come on, Elliot Yeo on Tex Walker.
Oh, that was killing you.
At what point do you go, get him off? 6 goals.
No, keep going. Did you see that? They had Yo on Tex Walker for the entire game, Nate, nearly.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's why he kicked.
I remember watching like a quarter or two before dying, and what was it? The commentators kept calling to bring down Jack Darling to the back line.
Yeah, because Darling wasn't getting any possession.
Yeah, so Darling didn't have a touch until I think it was midway through the third.
Yeah, and he got a goal from it.
Yeah.
So why didn't they drag him back?
Mate, it was an odd game to watch. I think Adam Simpson, he's got to make moves that make sense. And that's the problem he's got at the moment. Is he's just doing things that aren't making sense for the West Coast Football Club.
There's got to be a salary cap issue because I still don't get they would have known. They would have known that Nat Nui was done for the year.
I was just going to get you to bring that up.
It was delayed. It was delayed information. Blah 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 blah. Like, I don't get why they wouldn't draft like maybe another backman,
Just a ruckman or a backman.
Yeah, ruckman or a mid. No, they got enough midfielders.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like a bigger backman. Yeah, sure, he's going to be a kid, but at least then you're getting some numbers in there. Like, they've got nothing. I just don't get what the hell they're doing.
Oh, and especially being in Perth, we saw, like, of course, like, we didn't see the VFL results, and of course on TV it wasn't the VFL, it was the Waffle. And yeah, Nate didn't know how bad West Coast 2s were doing.
Oh,
They
really?
saw the score and the ladder for, like, they've got no wins with 32% in the Waffle. And yeah, you saw that for the first time. I went, what? I was like, yeah, they're that bad.
They're
Like,
stuck.
I've watched some of their games in the Waffle this year. Awful. They're the worst team. Like, they've got nobody in that side.
They've got no depth or talent.
Yeah.
Like, the decisions and whatnot that they're making recently are reminding me of the Dockers. Like, it is just like early stupid era Dockers, Dockery nonsense.
Dockery nonsense.
And you're just like, it's just bewildering to see West Coast do this and go through this because you're so used to them being the bigger brother that's, always going to accomplish greatness like year after year and find some way to get out of this bull crap. But nah, they look absolutely stuffed.
They look cooked.
Yeah.
And, think Derm said it best. The pain's hasn't even begun
No.
yet because we're not even near the end of the year. And once we get towards the end of the season, that's when I reckon the pain is really going to start to come for them when their kids start running out of legs. So as soon as that starts to happen,
If they even get to that fucking point with injuries.
well, that's the thing. Yeah, they've got to get there. I mean, did they lose more on the weekend?
There would have been one.
Which there was. And that's what I'm saying, is another injury to their list. They can't afford any injuries any more weeks. We need to look it up, and this will be another thing for next week. How many weeks have they gone with an injury? Because I reckon they have not had a game this year where they haven't walked out with someone injured.
Does it also count for the waffle? Because I think there would have been 1 week there was no injuries, but there was someone in the waffle. I think it would have been Hewitt in the waffle got injured straight away.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We'll have to look it up. Yeah, well, that's a task for next week, I reckon.
I just want to say one more thing, and I said this last week. If you lose to West Coast this season, you are going to be filthy.
I don't. You know how I think you said last week they're going to have a win in them somewhere. I don't think they do. I genuinely don't think they do. I reckon this could be a year we go. Have we ever seen a year where somebody goes through without a win?
Well, they've already won 1 against the Giants.
Oh fuck, they did too.
But the North Melbourne game at home, that's the one they're lining that up as a win, West Coast.
But even then, I reckon North's eyeing that as a flogging.
Yeah, if they can't win that West Coast, then I don't know where they're going to get this win from.
Well, I reckon even if North can't pull something out in that game, then there's something wrong.
North should be able to beat them.
They should.
Yeah.
Absolutely should be able to beat them. North's got some talent, absolute, really good talent coming through.
I still reckon it'll be us that they'll pull some bullshit and win.
Well, for you, I mean, you guys probably have that thing where it's like the ladder more so goes out the window when the derby's on. But I do also think that there's no chance that if they do, I'm very disappointed in Freo.
Like they almost beat us earlier this year.
Yeah, but that's where they had players.
Yeah.
Gotta remember, since then they've lost nearly everybody on the list. Like they are down to absolute dregs of the list. Somehow we've ended up going into West Coast injuries.
It's just
We've just gone to West Coast, and fair enough.
it's just impossible not to.
It's hard being a West Coast fan. I can tell you now, I've not seen a single West Coast fan while we've been here. Seen a shitload of Freo fans. And I know we went to the game, but I've seen them in the street too. Let's get into Saturday night. So we got to experience Optus Stadium for the first time. You know what? I'm going to let you.
Why me?
You adored it in the end.
Up the stadium in
Yeah,
general.
you loved it.
Well, I didn't like being checked, as in like we were the only 3 I think got checked.
Yeah.
In a sea of 46,000 people, we're the only ones that got checked. The walk to up the stadium was just smooth.
It's gorgeous too.
It was great view, the bridge as well. Walk around up the stadium. It was almost like military. Not many people wandering around. Not sure where the public transport goes to get right to up the stadium.
Yeah, that'd be a Mason thing to explain.
It's the other side. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen it. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but like, so the section we came in, was opposite the public transport.
So it's the
section.
other side of
Yeah.
where we.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why we didn't see it. It's probably because it looks like it all makes sense if you know what you're doing.
All right. So getting into up the stadium, bit of a pain walking up the stairs, but there's no issues getting into the actual ground. A lot of AFL stores, a lot of food courts, very good beer. I'm not sure what the beer of it was called.
We were drinking Albi Crisp, I think it was.
That'll be crisp. And also, well, I'll just touch on this real briefly. Swan Drought, Swan Drought, slightly better than Emu Export. Emu Export is like a lemon in a can.
I forgot about that.
And Swan Drought, it's just beer. Not missing out on it. I know the Cellar Dweller guy said that in store. It's just
beer.
Just beer. But Albi's was pretty good. Our seats were very good. I'm not sure who got the tickets, but whoever got the tickets, what a legend. Fourth from the front. I'm not sure we got on TV or not. Very good view and just a very good stadium.
Yeah.
I love it. It's way better than Marvel.
Oh, it's arguably so. I mean, for anybody who listens who has to go to Marvel each week, I mean, Nate's lucky because Collingwood's home ground, of course, is the MCG. Me, not so lucky, who has to go to fucking Marvel Stadium half the time. That especially because the construction work as well, it is dog shit at the moment. So Yeah, Optus Stadium. What a stadium. Great burger, of course. Had to be a great burger.
It had to be just a general stadium burger.
Yeah, I love what they called it, the stadium burger. But yeah, so good burger. I will say some of the drinks you sell at the ground were pretty weird. Why do you guys sell milk at the ground? Dead set. The master. Do we dare go into? I mean, I see Nate leaving, but he's just come back purely for this.
I'll come back. I've got to get something from the footy. I'll be back and I'll touch on this Masters shit. I'm not happy.
So one big thing, especially you and I had to deal with more than Nate was the fucking rain. Only bad thing about Perth this weekend was we brought the Melbourne weather with us. Because it was I've looked it up, one of the wettest weeks in Perth history. And it was bucketing down on Saturday night at times. You and I got caught in it twice and had to dart up the top because we were in. It's funny. Nate was like, "Oh, we need you, stay." And I'm like, "Mate, I'm in a fucking flanny. You're in a jumper that's grey. You can see how wet you're getting."
I got soaked.
We were both soaked. We were both fucked for like 10 minutes there.
My pants and my ass.
Oh, my ass. That was the worst.
Absolutely soaked. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to sit around and get my shoes get soaked as well as my groin and crap. Not happening. So go up, and then you're standing up there with the beer.
Oh, then create a walkway. Mate, there is a fucking walkway.
Angry Optus lady, told us to move out of the way.
Even to know we weren't in the way.
And,
But yeah, so I went around. I mean, like we said, avoided the rain, but went around the stadium, got to just have a bit of a geeze and everything. God, I tell you what, it's just a gorgeous stadium. If you ever get a chance to go to the footy in Perth, do it. It's absolutely worth it. Even if it's just for a mutual that you don't support either team, well and truly worth it. We went full Freo enough. Me and Nate have bought some Freo merch. I, of all things to find, found a Freo flanny, which, of course, we did. We did get you a new wardrobe, which, to be fair, you're rocking the jumper right now, which we're going to have to rock. Do you have the ugly Christmas sweater as well? The Collingwood one?
No, I don't.
Oh, we're going to have to get it because then we got the 3 ugly Christmas sweaters.
I got my dad an ugly Christmas sweater for $20.
We're going to have to get you one now. But yeah, so Optus Stadium was awesome. The game, I don't want to harp on it too much because it was a bit of a dog night for the Dockers. Didn't really turn up in the first, and that was pretty much game. Pretty much game from that point onwards. Richmond were just pretty solid all night. They proved once again how good they are in the fucking wet.
It's the role players. The role players absolutely stood up.
Oh, when Ryan Mansell's playing the game of his life, you knew we were in for a treat.
Jaden Short, man.
Oh my god, Jaden Short, 3 goals from outside 50. I think every single time he got it, we said this is going straight through because to me, best kick outside 50 for goal, other than Jack Lukosius. But as you said, Jack Lukosius is just a good kick out, good long kick anyway.
100%. But do we talk about the score review?
We have to talk about the score review. Do you want to go into the score review? This has to hurt you somewhat.
I was told here on the home footage that it was completely obvious, apparently, but that's probably Nuffy bias. But
we all were Nuffy bias.
That would have been for me goal of the year. Yeah. Fucking defender Ethan Hughes stepping 2 free players.
I think it was 3 players he stepped in the end,
and then going for goal, and then slotting it to fucking would have turned the momentum around.
But you would have been less than would have been 4 points down at that point.
And then
score review comes back.
How did he even work it out?
So it was he called touch to begin. He called a behind to begin with, and then of course score review. He's then gone it was inconclusive, of course, and then they called umpire's call, which was a behind. So I think Nathan said it best. Though, are you going to say it?
Well, I was the only person not celebrating because I thought straight away it hit the post. And the woman sitting next to me was a Richmond supporter.
Yes, you did say.
And she wasn't saying anything. And I even said to her, she turned to me and goes, "Oh, I thought she thought it was a goal."
Yeah.
I turned to her and go, "No, I'm pretty sure it hit the post, but I'm not saying anything else after." Oh yeah.
No, I think the thing that you said best though was if Nathan Broad can't touch that,
Oh yeah.
then it deserves to be a goal.
Yeah, sorry, Nathan Broad. If you can't mark that, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
So
I think that made me pop more than anything was that you were just like, if he can't touch it or mark it, that deserves to be a goal no matter what,
yeah.
even if it hits the post.
Well, looking back now on this game, I wish it was a goal because it would have made an absolutely epic finish. You should be humbled, Richmond supporters. You can be angry. The free kick count, only 7 free kicks the entire game. You were pretty stiffed from time to time. With the
Yeah.
When the ball calls.
Oh, I think we can all agree the umpiring was very firmly in Frio's favour on the night, but there was some crucial ones late in the game that should have gone Frio's way, like actually should have gone Frio's way that didn't. So, you know, it depends how you look at it, because I reckon Freo would easily erase half of those free kicks to get those ones in the fourth that actually mattered. So,
but Richmond fans flying straight back home to Melbourne. A player that's not flying over the Melbourne just yet is Marlon Pickett. And we are, let's just say it now, we are on Marlon Pickett watch. We may very well be on the exact same flight heading to Melbourne with Marlon Pickett. And there's a lot of rows right near us that haven't been taken. So
Yeah, they're all reserved for him.
yeah, get ready to. I reckon it's going to be as I would love to say, a bit of a watch this space. And I reckon there's going to be a Marlon Pickett report next week if we see him on the plane, because I am so intrigued about his situation. Basically, for anybody who doesn't know, Marlon Pickett has been arrested in Perth while we're over here. Like, it's insane. On burglary charge, or is it attempted burglary charge? Now, this is all allegedly.
Yeah.
So attempted burglary charges, and a few other charges that also went with it. I'm not too sure. I think it was breaking and entering and things like that.
Yeah.
Christmas, I think, a year or two ago.
No, from last year. So 22 to 23 Christmas break. So this year. So obviously the Perth police have probably had this game on their fucking calendar since they had worked out all the reports, because it meant that they didn't have to extradite him back to Perth. But what an interesting situation that he is now in custody in Perth. He's facing probably a bail hearing as we speak, because there's been no reports on it yet that he's been bailed out, and he should be flying back to Melbourne, as Nate said, tonight. So we could be having a very interesting flight this evening. We will report back to you guys next week if we have a Marlon Pickett watch or not, because I think Nate will be.
No. Fuck airplane mode. If it's happening, I'll be reporting straight away.
Yeah, just doing a vlog straight there and there. We'll get we'll just do a podcast on the plane. Yeah, so that was the game on Saturday night. We left. We went out the front. We were sort of waiting. I mean, you may as well get close to the camera and show them.
Can I just say one more thing? Marlon Pickett had 10 possessions. 8 of them were stolen.
Allegedly.
I stole that from the internet. I'm an Amy Schumer.
I was just going to say allegedly.
Yeah, well, I got this from the merch store.
You're going to have to get close. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. For those who are looking at that right now, it's a Matty Tabernar badge. The Crab Man of all people. The Crab Man. Which,
I mean, he's been a good servant to the club.
But you love to hate him.
I do. I think...
You're single-handedly keeping him out of the side.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like, what would you rather in your team? Old man Tabernar or Tracy and
Amos? Oh, which, can we just say, what a game Amos played as well.
4 goals in the wet.
In the wet, he was probably one of the best shining lights. Plus, the game Fife he had was quite good.
Oh,
that goal from the boundary that we were like, what? So well done, Richmond, as much as it pains me saying. Good win over in the West.
Yeah, no, we need to give Shai Bolton his props.
Oh, he destroyed you guys.
Yeah, absolutely everywhere.
And not to mention the fact that he was also he sealed it as well.
Yeah,
so
hang on. I need some more information on that. I thought he got the first one in. You know how they made him redo the kick?
Oh, no. So that was...
Did he kick the first one?
No, he missed it.
Oh, you're joking.
That's why I was shitty as well, because it wasn't what you thought it was. I think it was... someone tried to take advantage.
I think just setting up the mark.
I thought it was because a ball came on the field.
It was something weird. It was... I think it was... That's why it took so long for it to come back. But from memory, what it was there was a advantage. Someone tried to take advantage. they kicked a point, which I leaned over to you and said immediately, if that was a goal, that's advantage.
Yeah.
But because it's a point, of course, bring it back.
Yeah.
And I hate that rule because that's bullshit. Advantage was clearly taken, but we won't go into that too much because, like we said, good win out in the West for Richmond. They do deserve their flowers a little bit, but at the end of the day, I think the next week for the Richmond Football Club, especially with two tragedies happening essentially in one day, because if anybody else who doesn't know, Basher Hooley was also in a major car crash overnight. Was
it Jaden Short or was it Ross is gonna go to the tribunal?
Oh, Mansell. Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan
Was
Mansell.
it Mansell?
Yeah, Ryan Mansell. So he's also staring down the barrel of 2 to 3 weeks because he's got he basically destroyed James Aish. That boy was, as Nate pointed out at the time, that boy was going pale on the field.
Yeah, he was turning more white than me.
He was not
when got
looking
knocked out,
good.
Yeah.
So after that game, I mean, like we said, we wandered back to, did the walk back to the apartment, and I think for that night we just started drinking and watching Royal Rumbles from that point onwards, and we just had a fun night in. Again, very odd to leave the game at 9 o'clock basically and be back by 9:30, and it's like, what do we do now?
I think was there something else
No, we didn't do anything after.
Well,
We went to the cellars and that was it.
then we did watch the cricket.
Oh yeah, we watched the cricket, and then once that finished, I think we went over to
Yeah, and
the Rumbles.
I think you boys were concerned I nearly died with the way I was sleeping.
Oh, remember how he was sleeping on Saturday night,
just
face
face down.
down in the fucking pillow, and we were standing in the doorway going, "Should we poke him? Is he okay?"
I was like, oh yeah, I saw him because Nate wakes up for like a couple minutes and then just passes out again.
It's scary. That is the scariest thing.
I thought you had it bad with your Valium.
No, you literally walk around and then go back to bed.
Whatever.
It's one of the more.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I don't know how you have the energy to come out and do things. My favorite was when. Do you remember? I think it was the Friday night. He came out, laid on the couch.
Oh, yeah, look for his phone.
Yeah, he looked for his phone, but then laid on the couch for like 2 minutes and then went, I'm going back to bed. And we were like, okay. And then when we asked you the next day, you're like, yeah, I barely remember that.
Well, Fernando was in the house, so
Fernando was in the house.
Yeah.
But another good sleep in Perth on the Saturday night, and then straight through to the Sunday where you and I went for a bit more exploring. You died in the ass after the game on the Saturday night and had another shit sleep. Basically, I think we've destroyed Meso's sleep cycle for this week.
I'm just not used to drinking. I don't drink.
It's true. We have hit the beers quite hard this weekend.
oh, that's cute.
We have hit the beers quite hard this weekend, but at the end of the day, we went down. Sorry, I shouldn't say at the start of the day. Went to the CBD where we found that everything is closed on a Sunday in Perth.
Slightly annoying, however, free public transport on Sundays.
Yeah, that was quite sick. Free public transport to go in, but as we mentioned, it was not as fun when you're trying to find some food.
We had the Broden Kelly experience from 2018.
So Broden Kelly, I'll tell the Broden Kelly story where Broden Kelly is from Auntie Donna. He came over for the Melbourne versus West Coast 2018 prelim.
Oh, okay.
Used all his Auntie Donna points to get over here.
Oh, jeez.
Not all of them. I'm sure he had some left over, but basically used a lot of points to get over here and ended up on the Sunday because he stayed overnight. On the Sunday, all he wanted was food and he was shitty because Melbourne had lost the night before. Didn't score it. That was a game where they didn't score a goal until midway through the second or something like that.
They play like dog shit.
Dog shit. But basically, he couldn't find anything to eat and just cracking the shits he basically lost his mind over it. And we were getting pretty close there as well. We could not find a single place open to eat.
Not even fast food joints.
No, so we eventually ended up going back to where the Macca's and the Hungry Jacks are, and then we found a few more places around there that were open for food, but more the other side of the street. Now then, that way, everything was closed.
Yeah, no, that little section would be the only thing that's open.
That's crazy. So yeah, we ended up going to Betty's, getting some lunch.
We pretty much dined and ditched grilled for like a minute.
We didn't even dine. We literally got the menus. We were about to order, and then we literally went, oh fuck, we were going to go to Betty's.
I feel bad because the customer service, they were very generous. They were like, They came over, everything all right, whatever, and then just
Bye.
yeah, go bye. Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to Betty's and had some lunch. We did find a fun comic book store that you
cool.
told me to hit up. I ended up doing. I got my
So which one was that? Was that the one where you
quality comics.
walk in and it like goes down a little bit?
No, yeah, yes.
There's just like a little slight dip, and then it's just got this little.
Yep. Yeah. I think
Okay.
was the one.
That's quality.
Yeah. So I got the Boys Volume Omnibus Volume 2. So I'm only 3 away from finishing the books. So I'll be reading that probably through the week. Should be good fun. Yeah, so we went from there, went and got some food, and then we did some shopping as well. I mean, that's what else do you do when you're on holiday?
Well, we found the McDonald's without the door. That was
yeah.
the famous Ryan Daniels Macca's that he worked at for a few years before he got in the media. And obviously,
Yeah, apparently.
Huh.
and yeah, some crazies. I was going to say simpletons, but they were anything but simpletons.
Yeah.
Roaming around the place, living up to the name or the
The reputation of the
reputation.
place, yeah.
but no fights.
Yes.
Any fights.
Gonna say, to be fair, it was
What time was this?
like midday.
Oh no! You gotta be there early morning or late night to see the fight.
Yeah, I assumed if we had decided to go there on the Friday night after strike, we could have been in a bit of strife.
Hmm.
What else?
Well, this is where we went over to Holy Moly.
Oh yeah, that's right. But Betty's Burgers, their sauce, famous with CM Punk, best in the world.
I have so with Betty's special sauce, I've shown this is why I want you to have it as well, because I need you to give me the analysis of it, because it's dead set the best sauce I've ever had in my life. I made Nate try it. He's like, yeah, right, that's fucking good. I'd be curious to see what you say about it as well, because you got that. So now you can go to Betty's, which Betty's is in that spot near Strike that I showed you.
Oh, okay.
Definitely recommend it, because it is a good burger joint as well. I think it just adds to your good burger joints that you've got in this place.
You love a burger.
You love a burger. So yeah, we went over to Northbridge to basically explore over there, because I think the best way to describe Northbridge was it's just basically Perth Chapel Street. That's what I was sort of getting the vibe off of it. It just seemed like that's where everybody goes to have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Would that be?
That's where all the clubs and shit are, yeah.
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 Yeah. So we went over there. We went to Holy Moly, and we were going to do an escape room, but I mean, it was in the most weirdest place I think I've ever seen in my life, which made you want to do it more, which made me laugh. But then, yeah, we went Holy Moly, beat Nate by 1 in mini putt is the best way to describe it. Had a beer there. Yeah, just had a fun day. Sort of just kept track of the footy while we were going through the day.
Honestly, no.
Oh, we sort of did. We kept track of like the score
Good
of the
scores as well, but we don't really have much in depth on John.
Oh no, God, we don't have anything in depth, but it definitely all we can say for our Kanga fans that listen, looks like you guys had a good game. You'll probably have to ask old Mavid why they didn't have as good a game. You might be able to give you a bit more into that.
Yeah, if I talk to him, yeah. But George Wardlow is North Melbourne's Lenny Hayes. He's looking up to be an absolute gem for North Melbourne, and a very good decision to split pick 1 for Wardlow and Sheasel.
Yeah, that's turned out to be an absolute ripper decision when you look at what Sheasel's been doing, and like you said, Wardlow's finally starting to show up to the party. I think is he injured to start the season?
He was. All North need to do, get a key forward in to support Larky. It seems like Larky's going to stay long term for North. Keep Mackay down back. I know he hasn't had a good season there, and Logue's got to pick up some form. Just some reinforcements. Yeah, reinforcements. Ruck life after Goldie as well, and then the rebuild's fine, and it's just on the way up. It'll be a few years, but it'll happen.
But yeah, so we had a pretty fun day in Perth yesterday. We just sort of, again, we were in Northbridge, just sort of hang out. Came back, watched the footy last night. Did we watch the footy last night?
We did watch the footy last night.
Jeez, my brain is gone.
Oh yeah, of course you forgot.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God, we did watch the footy last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, Peter Wright is back, baby.
Of course he's back. Carlton, of course he had to get back that week. Yeah. fun night for me. To be fair though, the Aussies won the ICC Test World Cup, and that's what I needed from that night. if that wasn't on at the exact same time and almost happening at the same time, I think I would have been very lost.
Steve Smith, what a catch. What a bloke. Scotty Boland as well.
Oh, Scotty.
We are the best team in the world. Best country in the world.
I mean, it was my favorite thing was once we started getting really into it, I said to Nate, I was like, Nate, I need a bit of cheering up. So every time they took a wicket, Nate would Jeff Hardy for me.
No, because I was the only one that was happy. You guys were just...
Well, I came full depressed.
Yeah. So I had to do something. I think I did a Jeff Hardy celebration when then they reviewed it and it was not out. So
Yeah, you did. I forgot about that.
yeah, not too. Just going back, I had to go back to the footy. I looked up this stat, or that was posted. Essendon's defenders had a total of 109 disposals down back, and 105 of those were effective or led towards a goal or involved in some sort of scoring involvement. So very efficient by Essendon. I'm starting to get the belief that Essendon can win a final this season. I really am.
I'm starting to get the belief that Carlton will finish bottom 4.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the sense that, I think the season's gone. I never expected that 6-match stretch to lose all of them.
Well, can we actually? I mean, we'll go into it next week. Next week's going to be more of the footy podcast where we actually dissect some things. Probably, like you said, we'll probably cover a little bit of this round and probably of the next round. The big thing that I want to go into next week is the 6 weeks, because I said 6 weeks ago. I said Kane Corns also said it. We're going to find out where Carlton's at in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
We just found out.
Kane Corns was right. Not just the bottom 6 side. It's bottom 4.
4 side.
And myself, but mostly Meso, he trademarked this. Surely Carlton were going to win at a certain stage. Surely. And it just hasn't happened. And now,
Well, we'll beat the Suns. Got to be right at some point.
I'm not even. I can't.
I can't say
I can't
it
sit here with a straight face and say you're going to beat the Suns at the G.
I don't think we're going to beat the Suns at the G.
Like we want to, mainly me at this stage. I want to see Suns push for finals. That's a game the Suns need to win.
They do, and my thing at this point is just tank for Harley Reid. It's the best option that Carlton has at the moment. See,
Do you have any picks to trade up?
we do. If we there's a way we could bottle together. If we really wanted Harley Reid, we would have to give up this year and next year's first rounders.
There's a rule in there where I think you need to keep at least one future first or something. That's why Port Adelaide want to get rid of that rule, because they had to fight tooth and nail to get Horn Francis support.
I think we're okay because we took our first rounder last year.
You don't have a future second because you gave it.
No, but we took Ollie Hollins with pick 14 last year.
Okay, so you're not at West Coast level where you need to.
Yeah, we don't have to take. We could theoretically trade away the next 2 years.
But then the next question is, all right, you get Harley Reid in.
What's it do?
Yeah, but you need to keep him for 15 years, and you've got no salary cap because you've signed guys like Mackay and Kerno and everyone else to long range deals.
Which is, I know that's where everyone the big discussion is going to come from, where Carlton goes. I mean, everyone's going to talk about how it goes wrong. Let's be honest. I do think this can turn on a dime. The team's there, but it's got to happen, and we keep saying. I mean, you joked every week. It's like it's got to happen. It's got to happen. As a Carlton fan, I don't see it happening. But at the end of the day, it can happen at any point. I mean, it's a very weird competition this year. The vortex is very real.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, I don't think Carlton's making finals this year. I think we can pretty much call that, but we can say that they can at least get something out of this season, at least.
Yeah.
To go into next season with.
I do like the Chera Walsh combination in the midfield. It's just it sucks that someone like Cripps has just gone backwards, so far backwards. Wiedering, he's stepping up in the last few weeks, but Lewis Young had his worst game for Carlton against Peter Wright. And obviously, less said about Kerno and Mackay, the better. 6 goals, 16. Sorry, it's not gonna. That doesn't pay the bills in AFL level.
I mean, I tell you what, I reckon we can already tell you what Carlton's going to be doing in the off season. It's going to be putting those boys in front of goal, and they're going to be sitting there kicking. They're going to get rid of that rule where you're not allowed to take as many shots. They said you're not allowed to take. You have to take X amount of shots, and then you're not allowed to take any more.
Yeah,
I reckon we'll be breaking that over the off season and saying take as many as you need.
Well, that as well, but it's similar to the put your mouth guards in, boys, that sort of training drill. Those forwards should be in front of goal non-stop at this point. Needs to be automatic.
I still think that Charlie Curnow needs a little bit of praise because 40 goals in a team that's doing what they're doing is still very, very good.
Yeah.
He's still a very, very good player. He's worth every penny. I think we can all agree with that. It's Mackay that's the issue at the moment. But again, we're not a Carlton podcast. We're not going to go. We're harping. We are harping a little bit, and I think it's more next week's discussion, especially after the Suns game. I think it'd be something that'd be worth to go in depth about.
Yeah.
I think we could finally probably open up about them a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, best way to look at it, we turned that game off, flicked it over to the ICC Test World Cup, and actually had a really, really enjoyable time watching that. It was good to see the boys finally be the best in the world. And now then I should say we had a few drinks and then we went over to what was it called again?
We went to a place called Pot Black. It's pretty much a snooker place.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be a bit more arcade games and all that. There was an upstairs, but that was barred off. How many? There was what 26 different pool tables, professional ones, minor ones.
Yeah, they have the range, so you can pick what you want to play on.
We didn't pick. He just
He
saw us jamokes and went, right, you're going to the fucking worst one.
Well, my question for Meso, which is one question, is how many games did you win last night?
One.
I think you got one,
Yeah, one.
and then you had 6 close losses,
Yeah, 5 or 6 close losses.
which was absolutely shattering. But
by close losses, we're talking about like last ball.
we're talking 8 ball. Yeah, we're talking both on the 8 ball, and you just losing. It was a bit rough.
There was one where Nate smacked me, and I think I still had like 6 to 8 balls.
I forgot about that one where you
Oh.
went off tap.
What's funny was there was this bloke who offered $100
Oh, that was funny.
to play us, and I said it's free real estate for you because I'm shit at the time. Haven't played that game, I probably would have taken up that offer.
I reckon you would have got in your own head.
It was so good that like everyone just going, wow.
I think it was every shot you take. It was good shot, and there was one fluke shot that even you were like, no, but like, but
Oh
still,
yeah,
dude.
I even said sorry because I did not mean that. But yeah.
Didn't mean it. But yeah, so we played pool until about, I think it was about 10:30. Came back. You dropped us off. Then we just sort of had a nice chill night and just relaxed. And I think you're running on fumes now, mate. We've destroyed him this weekend. This is, I don't even know how I have energy. But yeah, so that pretty much concludes the Perth trip.
Do we want to do our segments? Just a quick arrow from you, quick bullets. I actually got a Hall of Fame.
You've got a Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I've got one lined
Might
up.
need a boy then.
There is just so many games this season that has been decided by umpires.
Way too many.
Way too many. And I'm just...
Well, you and I, when we left the game on Saturday night, you and I were talking about, like, literally as we were walking out, we're talking about, is that the third or fourth game this round? It was the third game this
I think
round.
that was the second one, to be fair.
It might have been tomorrow, the Sunday we mentioned that it was the third, but we said that is another game. No, it was after last night's kick count debacle, where it was had the most free. It basically had the amount of your game's free kicks in the first quarter.
Yeah, Essendon
and Carlton.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
But yeah, it was where you and I were basically saying, like, there's been 3 games this round alone that have been decided by umpires, let alone the fact that we've also had to deal with this for how many weeks? Like the whole year.
It's years now. It's just
Years, yeah.
inconsistencies. Like, I don't expect the tallies to be even always, but come on. It's getting ridiculous now. And then they realize that they've messed up, so then in the next game they'll just call everything and then the game's over umpired. It's just I'm tired. I'm not even angry anymore. I've got nothing to be angry at. I'm just
tired of it.
I'm just drained. I'm tired.
We made you tired.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that means umpires for the. I think we counted it up. I think for the 5th time this season.
5th time umpires.
You've been arrowed.
It's just...
They deserve it though. I mean, this is probably, and I don't know if you would agree with this is the worst year of umpiring I've ever seen.
I barely noticed it.
Oh, fucking Collingwood fan.
Let's go break some hearts!
Come on. boy then. Now, this boy was the sub on the weekend, so it's probably more me just trying to, on the spot, wanting to throw one in because I really like this player. Oscar Baker from the Bulldogs. Really enjoy this guy. On Friday, was it Friday they played? Yep. Friday night was the sub. 4 disposals, 3 kicks, 1 handball, 2 marks. So 14 fantasy points, was not that effective. It's funny, I think his most effective spot was right near the boundary line, right where near the bench.
Oh, the heat map.
The heat map. Yeah, so he was a boy who came over from Melbourne to Western Bulldogs at the end of last year. I believe he was delisted by Melbourne, picked up by the Bulldogs. Let me see if I can get that. Yeah, delisted by Melbourne at the end of the 22 AFL season. Baker was selected by the Western Bulldogs in the preseason supplemental selection period. Baker made his debut in round 1 against Melbourne. And yeah, I got to admit, had a very solid year so far. I don't think he should have been the sub. I think he's someone who actually deserves to be in the starting 22. But yeah, he's forming together a nice little season at the Bulldogs. And I reckon he's made the most of his opportunity in a new club to be able to basically get himself there. I'll get the games up for you guys, just so you know. He is 25 years of age, was originally drafted from the NEFL, was pick 48 in the 2017 National Draft. Of course, as I said, went to Melbourne, played his first game in round 9, 2019 against West Coast at Optus Stadium. He's 148 centimetres, 82 kgs, not a midfielder, is now a forward, and he has played in total now 26 games. So that's 15 for Melbourne and 11 for the Bulldogs. So Oscar Baker, welcome to the Boys Club.
You remember this, pal? You're a boy in a man's world.
But my boy this week is a 2-club player. Well, technically 3, because he got picked up by Adelaide in 2005. Didn't play a game, was delisted at the end of 2007. Was picked up by Carlton in the preseason draft in 2008.
So Adelaide to Carlton.
To Carlton, that's right. Darren Pfeiffer played 7 games. Played 7 games for Carlton in 2008.
Oh, Darren Pfeiffer.
Including a match-winning goal against Fremantle in 08.
I remember him.
And then he was delisted at the end of 2009. Injury-plagued season. Moved to Queensland to play in the Quaffle. Good old Quaffle.
The Quaffle.
Was then picked up by Port Adelaide in 2012. Played 16 games and kicked just 2 goals across 2 seasons. A cheeky Brownlow vote against North Melbourne. That was a famous come-from-behind victory in 2012. Paul Stewart kicking match-winning goal. In total, 23 games, 6 goals. Basically, Darren Pfeiffer walked so Jason Horne-Francis could run. So, Darren Pfeiffer, you are now inducted into the Stephenson Warrior Hall of Fame. Stop shaking your head, boy.
Do you know any of these boys we bring up? Nope. So far, we were discussing it the other day. Seb Tape is still the boy that I think gets under your skin the most.
It's not a real person.
Mate, the Sun's inaugural list would say otherwise.
Like an anime character.
Oh yeah, can I explain? I'm gonna explain that quickly. Meso goes to me, he goes, "Oh, he's like an anime character," and I was like, "What?" And he brings up this picture of the guy with tape coming out of his arms. I was like, "What is happening right now?"
He's trying to picture Seb Tape.
It's just Seb Tape in a nutshell.
Cash time!
Bounce! お前らよっしゃー！ケニー・オメガを潰すのはこの俺や。本気で首狙ってるからな。
Yeah, so for those who don't know, Melbourne versus Collingwood is about to start as well for the Queen's / I don't want to call it not call it Queen's birthday anymore. Calling it King's birthday just seems weird. But for the King's birthday clash this year, so what I may as well just get your final, like a little prediction, final thoughts on this game before we go.
Yeah, well, Collingwood's overdue for a loss. And again, most of the AFL needs Melbourne to win this game. So I've actually tipped Melbourne to win this one. I
got Pies.
I'll go 19 points to the D's. I just think there's a few injury concerns for Collingwood, which may hamper.
And sickness as well. You mentioned that to me yesterday.
Well, at this stage, it's becoming a bit of a joke, this illness stuff, because it's not just recent players and Ginnivan who's laid out for Reef McInnes, but I think it's because most of our players are parents, and I think they're getting this from their kids.
As they would, yeah.
And it's also impacting guys like Nick Dacos, Josh Dacos.
The boys with no kids.
Degoe's been like he hasn't been a late out, but he's been questioned a few times for being ill. Hoskin Elliott's also been crook. Pendlebury's been crook. Side's been crook. I think Cox was in isolation.
So it's a real interesting week. To be fair, though, sometimes, I don't know if you've ever had this, but I reckon I played some of my best games of footy with a flu or a cold. I don't know why.
I remember playing one game. I had a massive rundown after the game because I was just that crook.
Yeah.
Like, it was so bad. Like, you go out for a beer after the game.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do that. That's how
Yeah,
bad
you
it
just
was.
sometimes can't. That's where I think it is with that. And also, just to say, it's good to see Neil out in the ground. Good to see Neil still walking.
Yeah, I heard. Apparently, yeah, there was. I think he was almost in a wheelchair. So this might be the last year he's actually walking down the tunnel.
This is probably Neil's last year. Talk about an absolute inspiration of a man. I love Neil Danaher. This game every year just gives you goosebumps. He shouldn't be at this big freeze, and that just is a testament to how much of a fighter he is. I got fucking goosebumps talking about him. He's an absolute legend and a star. Darcy, you gotta love him. And it's just great to see right now. We're literally watching as we speak, just Neil walking down the race, getting the send off that he deserves. People putting their hands out to, people. I mean, I get the kids don't understand it, so that's fine. But yeah, it's great to see Neil walking down the race there. That was actually really, really nice to see. So we'll leave the podcast there. I think that's actually a really good point to leave it. So we are the AWO Journeymen. Fucking together at last. The first time, but it will not be the last time, and you can mark my words on that. We will be back in Perth at some point. / we may even try to get you over at some point as well. So should be good fun. But we are the AWO Journeymen. Follow us on our socials, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, at AWO Journeyman. Like, share, subscribe, all the good shit. Does anyone have... Oh, wait, no, here we go. This is going to be the best way to do it. And please, drink more water.